Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the greatest Bed Wars guide ever made, so that you can win every game. Oh, and just to say, this video is mainly for team Bed Wars, where there are 3 or 4 people on a team. Now this video is going to be split into 3 sections. 1. Bed defense, what material to buy for your bed and how much to put on it. 2. Offense tactics, whether you should rush other teams or play just the long game. And thirdly, items and upgrades, what to buy from the item shop and which team upgrades to prioritize. Now just before I get into this video, the chances are that if you're seeing this, you're probably new to my channel, so if you are, I'd really appreciate if you subscribe. And with that said, let's get right into this video. Okay, so when you're defending your bed, you want to make something that takes other players a long time to mine through by using different blocks that require different tools to quickly mine through. For example, having both endstone and wood defenses, so that enemies need both an axe and a pickaxe. However, you also want cheap materials so you can quickly and easily set it up, so other teams rushing your base can't get an easy elimination. Now to start off, for the first layer, you want a strong block that you don't need a lot of, as you only need 8 blocks. Therefore, I would say that wood planks are the best option. They're a little pricey, requiring gold instead of iron, however you only need 4 gold as you get 16 for that price. Now for the second layer, without a doubt, you want to use endstone, as a pickaxe is almost required to break it, and unprepared attackers won't be able to get to your bed. A 24 iron for 12 blocks, you'll need to buy that twice for a full coverage for the bed, so that's 48 iron. Past this point, however, there are multiple other choices for the next layers. Most players would just cover this in a layer rule, as it is cheap, just 8 iron for a full layer. However, this is a foolish idea. It takes literally 0 time to mine through a block of wool and it does nothing. However, there is still a more unusual option in which wool can be used to defend. By buying a lot of it and placing a ton of it around randomly, it can make attackers struggle to find your base, as it isn't easy to identify the centre of the defences where the bed is. This, however, can form an obstruction on your island and make it harder for you to find other players that are mining through your bed. Alternatively, if you've already upgraded the forge and have more iron and gold, you can just use more conventional blocks for defences, such as more alternating layers of wood and endstone with a layer of blast resistant glass somewhere in it. Of course, once you have enough emeralds, replace the innermost layer of wood with a layer of obsidian. And there you go, now you have the absolute best bed defence that will still take even the faster miners with diamonds, pickaxes and axes with manic miner a long time to get through. Okay, now let's go on to the offensive tactics. So, there are 2 ways to play Bed Wars. Either rush all the other teams before they get sufficient defences, or play the long game and save up until you're stacked to overpower the other teams. Now in my experience of this game, I can say that as long as you're not bridging at half a block a second, and you don't have giga sweats on either side of you, rushing at least one of the teams is the best option. And well, if you're on a certain tiny map, like Dream Grove, you can just about rush every team before they get any sort of defence, and get a win in a matter of minutes. However, it can be tricky to rush if you aren't the best player, as you need to be able to bridge relatively quickly and also have a high CPS to crush your enemies in combat. It is in this situation that playing the long game will work best for you. If you are, then try to minimise the number of bridges that lead to your base, just 1 to diamonds and then 1 from there to emeralds, to prevent intruders from easily getting to you. Also make sure someone is always at the base to knock off enemies off bridges using bows or fireballs, and attack other teams with invisibility potions to increase chances of getting a sneaky bed destruction and slowly whittle down the competition until you are the last survivors. With such a wide variety of items to choose from, it can be tricky to decide on what to buy with such limited resources. First off, we'll start with the item shop. Straight away, unless you're in charge of bed defense, you want to collect iron to buy a wooden axe and pickaxe, along with enough blocks to bridge over to another team. The number of blocks needed varies between maps, however for this you'll normally need around 30 to 36 iron. This is to rush one of the teams, however on a smaller map you may not require the tools, as the teams have not time to implement bed defences. From this point onwards, you will generally not need to buy any more mining tools, perhaps with the exception of shears, till people have gathered enough emeralds for obsidian on their bases. After this initial rush at the start, you should begin to save up your resources to buy the following items. In terms of armour, you should never buy chainmail and instead save up for iron, and then diamond armour in the late game. A bow is always super useful as well. For weapons, if you die often, only buy stone swords to start off, as you lose your weapon when you die, and it can be a waste of gold buying iron swords over and over again. For other utility, fireballs are the only thing that you really need to buy for the first part of the game. Although rather expensive at 40 iron, they can be very helpful in not only knocking people off bridges but also launching yourself into attacks. It is advised not to buy other items until your forge is upgrading further. Talking of forge upgrades, we'll now move on to the team upgrades. For the long game players, upgrading the forge to Emerald Forge should be a priority, followed by Prot and Sharp later on. However, if you prefer to rush, getting Prot and Sharp first is the best idea, and then upgrading your forge after if the game ends up taking that long, and only get Manic Miner if you have diamonds laying around. Also, it's key to have a trap at all time, and the one that you want to be using is the Mining Fatigue one because it's just far superior to all the other ones. And there you have it, the ultimate guide for Hypixel Bedwars. Using everything mentioned in this video, along with a little bit of skill, you should be winning almost every game you play. I hope you enjoyed this video, and hey, if you want to see a video of me trying to win Bedwars without any proper strategy, click this video up here, and until next time, see ya.